Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Here we are for week 11 of our SAT Math Prep Group. We are going to ease back into this process by recovering a topic that we've already discussed. You're going to notice some changes in format. First major change in formatting is that we will not be receiving the problems that we're supposed to do on our own until after we have watched the video. This is because, based on the skill check results, we obviously are not paying as close of attention during the videos as we should be. So this video is going to be used for both the freshman class and sophomore class groups. And it covers an idea that we should be intimately familiar with. That is the idea of solving linear equations. We're gonna add a couple new wrinkles to this. The first being that you're not going to receive the practice problems until we have gone through the guided notes together. Remember that you are supposed to be taking notes along with me as we go through this video. Once again, please make sure you get your name, first and last name, on the name line and circle what class and what teacher you have. It may not exactly match what is up on the screen right now. What is up on the screen right now is the freshman version of the worksheet. But we're going to be going through the same examples with both groups, so there's only going to be one video for both freshmen and sophomores this week. Now, the other major change is how we are going to approach multiple choice questions. What I want you to do from now on these worksheets when you see a multiple choice question, and I'll say this twice so everybody can hear me, is you will circle the answer that you believe is correct, and you are going to be required to cross out one answer that you know for sure is not correct, and I'd like you to write next to that one why you crossed it out. So again, you're going to be circling the answer you believe is correct, and you are going to be crossing out one of the other three answers, one of the wrong answers, and writing out why you know that is not the correct answer. So we're going to do that for every single problem. So here through the guided notes, I'm going to show you what I mean by that by doing a couple of examples. We'll start here with example 1. It says if 2n divided by 5 equals 10, what is the value of 2n minus 1? So we're going to start off by solving the equation 2n divided by 5 equals 10. The way we would solve that is a two-step equation. Step 1 would be to get rid of the divided by 5, which would require us to multiply both sides of the equation by 5. On the left side, the 5's would cancel, leaving us with 2n. And on the right side, 10 times 5 equals 50. So now we have the equation 2n equals 50. We would then divide each side by 2, which would give us the value of n to be 25. So n equals 25. Now here's where the one major place that they can get us on these, because everybody knows how to solve a linear equation. The problem is going to be, do you go back and read the question? The question asks, what is the value of 2n minus 1? So we know for a fact that 25 is not a correct answer. So if 25 were one of our answer choices, we could cross that out, and that would be an example of one we could eliminate as being the correct answer. So we're supposed to be doing 2n minus 1. So we're going to take this 25 and we're going to plug it in for n. 2 times 25 minus 1 would be 50 minus 1, or 49. So the answer to the question, the correct answer is 49. And then we just need to pick one of these others, say for instance C, and we should say that's only 2n, not 2n minus 1. And that would be an example of me explaining how I know that that is not the correct answer. On to example 2. Example 2 is slightly harder in that we need to start off by combining like terms on each side of the equation. So on the left side of the equation, we have a whole bunch of different x terms. So we have 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1x, which would be a total of 5x, 6x, 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 6. And then we have minus 3 minus 2, which when combined would be minus 5, equals, on the other side of the equation, 7 is a singular thing, but we have a pair of x's that can be added together, which would give us 2x plus, don't forget the 7. The 7 still has to be there. Now that we have combined all the like terms on each side, we are going to isolate the variable, which means we're going to move the variable to one side by subtracting 2x from each side of the equation. While we're at it, we need to move the 5 as well, so we might as well do it at the same time by adding 5 to each side. That would give us 4x equals 12. And then we would divide each side of the equation by 4, which would give us x equals 3. And again, once we think we have the answer, the big key is we need to go back and locate the question that was asked. It asked, what is the value of x? Well, we have that right there, x equals 3. All right, so again, there's 2. We're going to look at a couple more here, and then I'll let your proctors pass out the remaining problems for you to try on your own. Okay? All right, so I'm going to move on here to example 3. It says, what value of x satisfies the equation shown below? That's fancy talk for solve the equation. Now notice this is not a multiple choice question, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. So first up, we're going to distribute the 5. So we do 5 times 4x, which would be 20x, and 5 times negative 1, which would be negative 5. And that still equals 4x plus 3. Now we're going to isolate the variable by subtracting 4x from each side and add 5 to each side. That will get the x alone on one side and the variable, the number alone on one side. So 16x equals 8. And then we will divide by 16, which gives us x equals 8 divided by 16. Now remember that you have 2 options here. You can either write that as a decimal, or you can reduce this fraction. You must reduce, if possible. Both the top and bottom of this fraction are divisible by 8. So that would give us x equals 1/2, or 0.5. Now when we go to type that in on the computer, it's only going to allow us to type in a total of 4 characters. So you cannot write x equals 1/2. It will not allow you to do that. So in the box, I'm only interested in either saying 1/2 or 0.5, one or the other. We do not provide both. We only provide one. It does not matter which one. They are both equally correct. Finally, on example 4, it says, what is the solution? Again, it's always key that when you have your answer, you need to go back and make sure you have answered the question that's being asked. Okay? So, in example 4, we would start off by distributing the negative 3. Negative 3 times x, negative 3 times negative 5 would give us negative 3x plus 15 equals negative 2x plus 4. Same deal as before. We're going to isolate the x by adding 3x to each side and subtracting 4. Now remember, it doesn't technically matter which direction you move x and which direction you move the number, but you do want them to be on opposite sides of the equation. So that would give us 11 equals x. The question asks, what is the solution? So we don't need to do anything with that. That is our correct answer. X equals 11. Okay, so now at this point we have finished the guided notes. You should have written down everything that we went over in that video, and that paper should now be usable to help you complete the remaining problems on your own. So at this point, your proctor is going to pass out the skill check sheet. Same deal, make sure you write your name, full name, first and last name, circle your class, circle your teacher, and then complete those questions on your own. Now here's the key, folks. We will then turn both papers into the proctor with your names on them and your classes and teachers circled. Thank you very much for your time. I hope everyone had a wonderful break. Welcome back, and I look forward to next week. Thank you very much.